This is Monday, July 12th, 2021. Select Board meeting or call to attendance pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order extending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 18, to allow for remote meeting participation until April 1st, 2022. The July 12th, 2021 Select Board meeting will be conducted via remote participation by the board. And at this point in time, only Westwood Media is recording. Is anybody else recording? Just wanted to make sure. Okay. And we grant Westwood Media permission to record the meeting. So with that, you might see a lot of faces on our screen, which is very rare for our Select Board meetings unless they're held in person or something fantastic happened in town. And so I have the privilege of giving you the update of the Westwood girls lacrosse team. And so with that, ladies, we have a proclamation. Before I do the proclamation, I want to say, if I get any of your names wrong, I apologize ahead of time, okay? But I'm going to try to do this, and it's a long proclamation, and that's because Tish, who's in the Select Board's office, also played lacrosse, so she wanted to make sure we get it right. So the proclamation begins, excuse me. Whereas the Select Board officially recognizes the Westwood High School girls lacrosse team for its state final win against Franklin High School on Thursday, July 1st, 2021. And whereas the Westwood girls lacrosse team ended the season undefeated with 24 wins, bringing the state championship trophy back to Westwood. Whereas on a rain-soaked field, I find that hard to believe. The girls lacrosse team started the game with strong goals by Lindsay, and I'll say it, Diamede, and Ava Connaughton to start the game to a 2-zip and force an early timeout by the Panthers. Whereas Ashley Mackin's sidearm snipe on the net made the score 4-0 with 7:39 left in the second quarter. But Franklin responded to hold the Wolverines to only one goal over the next 30 minutes and tied the game at 5-5. Whereas the Wolverines goaltender, Anya Holland, led a strong defensive unit to a strong performance of making some stellar stops down the stretch. Whereas, after forcing a turnover with 2 minutes left, the Wolverines ran the clock down to the final shot, but physical play caused a scrum to ensure and a change in possession, resulting in the Wolverines needing to force another turnover. Whereas, as with the ball back in the Wolverines, with 12 seconds left to play in regulation, Ava Connaughton's around-the-net shovel-style goal secured the win for Westwood. And if you haven't seen it, you need to check it out on Westwood Media or even on the Twitter feed. Whereas the entire team contributed to the 6-5 win over Franklin High School Panthers, supported by Margot Spatola and the outstanding coaching staff. Therefore, here comes the big news. Let it be proclaimed that tomorrow, July 13th, 2021, shall be known as Westwood Girls Lacrosse Day in Westwood, Massachusetts, to honor the 2021 girls lacrosse team on its state championship win. The Select Board would like to present the team and its coaches with a proclamation for their achievement. So congratulations, ladies, job well done. I'm sorry, I hope my video is not cutting out as bad as it looks on my screen, but it may be. So with that, John or Rob, did you want to chime in?
John, you go first. I'll go second. Can you hear me, Michael?
No.
I did. John? Johnny, I want you to go first.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I just want to congratulate you all. I watched the video. I couldn't be there in person, but it was such an exciting time. And you're all such a credit to the town. And it's been a tough couple of years. So you really brought some joy. And we appreciate all your hard work. I know this wasn't easy. And Michael, I stepped away for a minute, but did you read all the names?
He did not.
Oh, okay, Michael.
I will.
You should probably just read all the names, though. But thank you all again.
Okay, let's do that. Sure. All right. So while Rob tries to get a better audio, we have our coach, Margot Spatola, who is here somewhere. And we have Abby Crowley, a senior captain, Anya Holland, a senior captain, and Ashley Mackin, a senior captain. For our juniors, other seniors, we have Jane Gaffney and Laura Porter, Kaylee Trider, who I happen to know personally, as well as our juniors, Lexi Bean, Kate Dean, Libby Dorsky, Maddie Lyons, Emma Ricky, Ava Connaughton, Lil Hancock, Olivia Williams, Kendall Bloomquist, Lindsay Diamede, Haley Gutzer, Maya O'Donnell, and Riley Harrington, and Kayla McGrail. Congratulations, ladies. Job well done.
I'm hoping that you can hear me more clearly now. Can you?
Yes.
I just want to
Yes,
add
we can,
that,
Rob.
okay, I just want to add that, as difficult as the last 2 years have been, I know it took tremendous teamwork to come out of this season undefeated, and it was extra special when I sat and I read that list of names, because I know a lot of these young women from having been around coaching Little League with a lot of their parents and or their older brothers. And I can't believe that many of you are seniors and juniors. So congratulations to you all. Tremendous effort. Ava, Gordie Howe, I mean, just unbelievable, that goal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Margaret, did you want to say something on behalf of the team?
Sure. I just wanted to thank you for welcoming us and for recognizing our team. And just like you said, it has been a tough couple of years, but this team came together in late April and worked really hard together and really took care of each other and had fun. And I've said it many times in the past few weeks, but this entire team has been the bright light at the end of the very dark COVID tunnel. So we're very fortunate to have a great group of girls, and they did a great job, and we're very happy. And thank you very much for recognizing their hard work.
And I want to say
Thank
it's
you all.
probably one of the only Zoom calls they really want to be on.
They want their cameras off. They want their cameras off.
All right, well, congratulations, ladies, and enjoy the proclamation for tomorrow. It is officially the Westwood Girls Lacrosse Day, so congratulations.
And
Thank
Coach,
you.
congratulations to you as well on
Thank you.
bringing Westwood back to the top.
Thank you very much. Couldn't have done it without the girls.
Okay, bye, ladies. Thank you. You're
Congrats,
welcome to stay.
everyone.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like, but we usually don't get too many takers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tish.
Thank you. Bye, Margot. All right. So we think we're up.
Just like that, we're back to smaller numbers. All right. I should switch between my laptop and my iPad. Fish, hold on a second. Just want to let me in. Okay. Sorry about that. Technical difficulty.
Michael, we're hearing you.
Thank you. All right, so the problem is my laptop and the All right, can you hear me okay?
Okay, we're still hearing you twice.
Not sure why.
Does anyone have the meeting open in a separate tab?
I have everything.
If you're joined by your laptop and your iPad, one of those two needs to be muted.
I'm no longer on. I'm only on one.
There was some audio being picked up from Todd, your camera. I've muted that. Try that now.
Okay. Is that better? Yeah, it's better. Okay. Solve technical difficulties. Thank you, Paul. That's why they hired you, I'm sure. Okay. So with that, we are moving along on our scheduled events here. We have the Eagle Scout ceremony for Troop 1 in Islington. The committee chair for the Troop 1 Islington, Paul Bearden, has invited the select board to attend the Eagle Scout Court of Honor of 5 for 5 Eagle Scouts from Westwood on Sunday, July 25th, 2021. I unfortunately will not be able to because I have a wedding that day, so I don't know if either John or Rob will be in the area that might be able to attend. But in case not, we did want to recognize our 5 Eagle Scouts. And with that, let me introduce Charles Bearden. Charlie's Eagle Scout project was included installing wooden steps and a sturdy railing onto the rocky slopes along the popular beach side at Hale Reservation. This helped the older beachgoers as they had a hard time climbing the path. The stairs also protected the area from erosion. Charles will be entering his sophomore year at Cornell University. Congratulations, Charles. And his brother Maxwell Bearden, I believe it's his brother. Matt's project was designing and building and installing 4 wild bee boxes. These boxes were installed at Hale Reservation in key locations where the wild bee populations are known to be located to promote the health of the native bee population as well as the environment. Underneath each box, Max put a laminated informational sheet detailing why these boxes are here and why they're important to the local environment. Max will be starting his first year at the University of Vermont. Also for our Eagle Scouts, we have Owen Dunton. Owen's project was repairing and rebuilding parts of the elevated walkway over marshland at Hale Reservation. The previous walkway had become worn and rotten in some parts and was completely unsafe to walk on. Owen replaced most of the boards and resecured them to the ground and replaced the cinder blocks and bases. Owen will be attending Westwood High School as a senior this coming fall. Kyle Hallahan. Kyle led a group of scouts to repaint the faded handicap symbols located in parking spots in the town of Dedham. He and his volunteers replaced the faded logo with the new updated logo. Kyle will be attending Westwood's High School for his senior year this upcoming fall. And last but not least, my neighbor, George Reshka. George's project was to beautify and improve an outside area between the Westwood Senior Center and the Westwood Food Pantry. This project included repairing benches, building and installing several bird houses on the trees surrounding the area, and digging out existing grass and dirt by the side of the food pantry and replacing it with mulch and planting perennials in the existing mulch beds. George will be attending the University of Massachusetts for Lowell for his first year. And Brandon Robinson will also be, although he's from our neighboring town of Dedham, but we did want to recognize him, and they will recognize him in the town of Dedham. The board members should let us know if John or Rob, if you're able to attend the July 25th, 21 event. And if we are, we'd love to see you there.
Yeah, Tish, I'll know by the end of the week if I can make it. I think I'll be able to.
That would be great, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No
I'll let you know. I'll let you know earlier this week as well, Tish. I'm just getting back, just re-entering from vacation, so
yeah,
need to check the schedule.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we have some exciting news for our seniors, and I don't mean our high school seniors. I mean our real seniors. The Westwood Senior Center is back open as of July 12th. After a very long 15 months, on July 12th, the Westwood Senior Center reopened with all its regular programs back. There are a few things to note, though. There's no food or drink in the center. So you can bring individual water bottles, those are fine, through the entire summer. There will also be no large functions until the fall. The Senior Center encourages everyone to get vaccinated. If you have not been vaccinated, please continue to wear your mask when you're in the building. Along with its regular programming, the Senior Center will continue to offer exercise, yoga, line dancing on Westwood Media Center and the Tai Chi via Zoom. Check in the Senior Center for more information on all they have to offer. It's great to have them back. Mr. Corchin, I won't tell people why you're sitting in your car because that was private. If you want to talk, about the paving construction.
Sure. There's a lot going on in town, as everybody can see. It's actually probably been one of our busiest construction seasons in years to speak of. We have quite a bit of work going on along Hartford Street and High Rock Street, which consist of sidewalk enhancements, granite curbing installation. These are all projects that were part of the approved road improvement bond from last town meeting. We also have some intersection improvements going on at Clabber Tree Street and Winter Street. And we are going to open up the sidewalks along Pond Street very shortly with respect to just improving the infrastructure within the existing framework and network of those sidewalks right now. We've completed all the crosswalk imprint work along Route 109 and have already embarked on our crosswalk improvement money, again, as part of the road improvement bond. You can notice throughout the community, you'll see at various intersecting roadways, we're already in the process of updating all of our curb ramps for 100% EDA compliance. We're going to be installing the signage, advanced signage, over the next several weeks. And in between all of that, we've also embarked on our annual Chapter 90 summer paving projects, which consist of the Pheasant Hill neighborhood, Orchard Circle, Old Stone Road, Chester Ave, and Downey Street from Canton Street down to Smith Drive. So there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot going on. We have all of our projects highlighted on the website. If by any means there are any questions from any residents whatsoever, always feel free to call. We can provide more in-depth details. But it's projected that all these projects really will wrap up and be completed by September. Our hopes are to be completed with everything prior to Labor Day. One other project as well is the sidewalk enhancements from the East Street Bridge up to Smith Drive. The contractor that we have in town right now is currently working off of Hartford Street. It's going to be that same contractor that works his way over towards that towards the East Street Bridge and embarks on that project. So that should be, I would say, timeline related to that section of sidewalk should probably be, I would say, mid-August range. And again, our hopes are to get that completed in advance of school beginning as well. So lots going on. I apologize for all the disruption. Unfortunately, we have to disrupt a little bit, but at the end of the day and come September, I think the entire community is going to be very pleased with what was approved during that town meeting vote, be it the road improvement bond.
Excellent. Thank you, Todd. You guys do a great job.
Thank you. And as always, thank you for your support.
No, I was going to say, Todd, the ramps look great. Along Winter Street, along near Pine Lane. It's just great to see all of that happening. They look great. I know that's a lot of work. Thank you.
And it looks great.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Todd. All right, moving on. Last thing for the is Westwood Day, and you'll probably hear about it ad nauseum. I'm going to remind you at every single select board meeting from now until then. Westwood Day, mark your calendars. It is Saturday, September 25th, 2021. Of course, the list of activities has not changed, so there will be a fun run at 9 o'clock. Oh, excuse me, a 5K at 9 o'clock, the fun run at 10 o'clock. And we will also have the vendor village and the food court. And so, Nancy, did you want to say something about that, Nancy?
Oh, she's here for PMC.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So with that, please mark your calendars. I know the weather's going to be good then because Mother Nature doesn't have any rain left by the time we get to September, like we are suffering right now. So hang in there. All right, moving along to our scheduled action. First up, we have the PMC Kids Ride on October 3rd, 2021. So now, Nancy, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nancy James. I am coordinating the Westwood PMC Kids Ride on October 3rd. So if we could just extend that good weather for one more week after Westwood Day, that would just be ideal. Presented or sought approval back in October of 19 for the Kids Ride in March of 20 or May of 2020, which clearly never happened. So all of our kids rides were canceled through spring of this year. So we have our site set on October 3rd. I've reached out to the police department, fire department, as well as Board of Health, and have received their approvals. The ride or the route is consistent with prior years, with a 1 mile loop, a 5 mile loop, and a 10 mile loop. So we're keeping a close eye though on activities and obviously numbers and you know, sort of the current state of COVID, just in terms of watching the numbers for the in-person ride. We also have the option to switch to virtual, and anyone who's not comfortable riding in person is more than welcome to participate virtually.
Okay.
So we truly appreciate all of the support from the town that we've received in past years.
Well, Nancy, we hope that the weather holds out for us too, and for you as well. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. John or Rob, any questions?
No, Nancy, thank you for stepping up. It's a great event. It's a lot of work.
Excited for it though. It's a great cause.
John, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Okay, I move that the board approve the 13th annual PNMAS Challenge Kids Ride scheduled for Sunday, October 3rd, 2021 from 7 a.m. to noon at the Martha Jones School with refreshments. This is contingent upon approval from the Board of Health and other necessary permits from the building department.
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Gotti?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Congratulations. We'll
Thank you so
say a little we'll say a little prayer for the weather.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, moving along. Next, we have our pilot program and a grant. And we should have, yes, Rich Adams. And
Hey, Rich.
Rich.
Hi, how are you?
Good. And hello, Osaka. How are you?
All right, and I should have Osaka. Were you able to bring it? Oh, there she is. Hello, Osaka. So, all right, so thanks for having us this evening. I'm joined by Osaka Mooring, who is a resident of Westwood, who earlier this year brought an idea, a very unique idea for programming to the recreation department. And with her assistance, we applied for and were awarded a grant for $10,000 from the Foundation for Westwood Education. And what I'd like to do tonight is just take you through this program very briefly, and then at the end, ask you to accept this grant so that we can offer this program to our community. So the program name is iSTEAM, and essentially what this is, it's an inclusive social skills program for Westwood's neurodiverse children and their peers. It's designed to develop age-appropriate social inclusion skills, as well as cultivating friendships with their peers while engaging in STEAM activities. Okay, so that would be science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematic activities. This will be a pilot program which we'll use to determine the resources necessary to develop this program and ultimately create a sustainable program that we can offer into the future, while also developing skills within the recreation department that will then be able to expand inclusivity attributes into some other recreation programs as well. So we're quite excited about this. The team will be will consist of 2 board-certified behavioral analysts, which we call BCBAs, as well as teachers, some of which will be from Westwood. We have Asanka, who happens to have 2 neurodiverse children, and she's remarkably passionate about this, very, very smart, and she brings so many resources to this endeavor, and she's been terrific to work with. We'll have 2 behavior technicians, as well as some high school volunteers who are interested in working with neurodiverse children. So from the goal of the program from the participants' perspective is to develop and encourage innovation, creativity, critical thinking, problem-solving skills, while at the same time developing social skills and also meaningful relationships with their peers. And equally as important it will be to develop confidence within these children to help them thrive. Okay. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Asanka and ask her to take us through just a couple of quick slides that will talk specifically about the program itself.
Hi, I'm Asanka Mooring. The program is designed to have two parts. The first part of it is going to be the curriculum development. We chose to use the Lego brick stuff, and it does come with the curriculum, but it's designed for neurotypical kids. So the BCBAs will adapt it to make it work for the neurodiverse kids. Then we also have, within that phase, we have a training program for all of our volunteers and all of the staff at the Westwood Recreation Department that is able to attend it, so that they get some kind of training to figure out how to deal with neurodiverse kids, what are the most common issues, what are the most common strategies, this kind of thing. Then the last part of the program is we run a 6-week session, 45 minutes each, and we have 2 age groups that we target, which is 6 to 8 and 8 to 10. And we're hoping to run it on Wednesday afternoons. We'll run it for 6 weeks, collect our data, figure out what the resources we need are, which ones worked, what strategies we can use, this kind of thing.
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent. Very nice. Thank you for stepping up and applying for this grant for our town. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm happy to answer any questions about this or.
Yeah, Rich, so, and Asanka, whomever is best. So when you talk about 10 recreation staff and 8 volunteers, Asanka, is that an ideal number, or would you have hoped that number was higher? Was like, what's the magic of that number?
So we would like each team would be a 1 neurodiverse child and 1 neurotypical child. And so for the pilot, we kind of overstaffed it because the idea was that we would get the largest amount of people exposed to this. So each of those groups would have like a behavioral technologist, which is somebody that's trained with the ABA techniques to work with neurodiverse kids. The thing that's unique about our program is that usually all of this training happens to the neurodiverse kids, but not to the neurotypical kids. We want to change that because we feel like if they are to make a connection, that both groups need help. So that's why we would have the behavioral technologists. They're not just there for the neurodiverse kid. They're there to sort of start conversations and help them. And the program is sort of like there's one child would be the engineer and the other one would be the builder, and they have to converse to try to put this together. Right. So it's designed to help conversations going. And if a team, say 2 kids are not talking and just building, then the behavioral technologist would say, oh, hey, Adam, what do you think about, just sort of get conversations started. And they're trying to do that. And we'd like the high school students to watch this, because if we kind of want this sort of inclusivity to go into the community, then more people in the community needs to be exposed to it. Right, so that's kind of the idea. The biggest goal was to give Director Adams a group of experts that could help with the training and sort of get this idea going. So
yeah, that's great.
We've specifically overstaffed the pilot program because it's a grant. We wanted to sort of get the best we could.
And would an aspiration be like long-term that not just in Westwood, but everywhere, staff in any recreation department would undergo some sort of training like this?
Yes, so the Newton department already has a program. It's kind of a long program that they've had for many, many years. And Cambridge also has one. So the idea was to start it up in Westwood because we have such a strong school district that supports special education. And so this would be really nice to have as part of our recreation department.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Well, John, let's get them the money.
Michael, your lips, God's ears. Let's do it. I think it's really exciting. I think it's great.
We're very excited to get this started. The goal will be to have this program pilot this fall. We have all of the staff identified, and they're waiting and ready to go once we can start spending this money. So, yeah, we're excited.
Well, Rich, you heard Michael say it. He's getting you more money.
We might need it someday, so I'll remember that.
John, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, so I move that the board accept the $10,000 grant for the iSTEAM program to be channeled to the Westwood Recreation Department
I'll
from the
second that.
Foundation for Westwood Education.
Sorry about that. I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, Mr. Hickey,
Aye.
Mr. Gotti,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Richard Osaka.
We would also like to thank the Westwood Foundation for Education for giving us the grant. So
Yes, yes, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, thank you very much.
Great job.
Thanks.
All right. Now we have, moving along on our agenda, we have Mr. Bailey coming in. Hello, Mr. Bailey. How are you, sir?
Good, Mr. Walsh. How are you?
Excellent, Counselor. Glad to see you. You want to
Nice
bring
to
us
see you.
up to- as to where things are?
Sure. This is an update on the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute proposal for a Proton Facility Center, and more specifically, the proposal for you before you is a payment in lieu of taxes agreement, or what we usually refer to as a community services agreement. At the board's June 21st meeting, when we last talked about this, the board members asked staff and myself to address certain questions, including the following, which was, how does the revenue from the proposed Dana-Farber facility compare to the revenue from the Brigham and Women's Hospital facility at University Avenue? And is the Dana-Farber community services agreement more economically favorable to the town than the Brigham and Women Community Services Agreement? So the answer to that is yes. A little bit more detail. The Brigham and Women's Agreement, the year one payment was $32,500, and that was based on a 26,000 square foot phase one building. That payment increases by 2.5% a year, and that's 25% of the assessed value. The way that this was addressed is Brigham did make an upfront payment of $300,000 that was used to do certain improvements at the senior center. So the town doesn't collect any of these payments until that $300,000 is paid off, which, you know, if phase two didn't get built, would happen sometime in year 7 or 8, but where it, you know, looks likely that phase two is probably going to kick off sometime next year. And when that kicks in, that $300,000 will be paid off more quickly. By comparison, the 1 year revenue from the Dana-Farber facility is expected to be a little over $600,000 a year. The other thing I wanted to point out is that under the Brigham and Women Agreement, they did not make any payments during construction. Dana-Farber has agreed to pay ordinary real estate taxes. They'll hold the property as a non-exempt entity until construction starts. Those ordinary real estate taxes are about $83,000 a year. From acquisition through the start of construction, and then during construction, Dana-Farber will pay 25% of the assessed taxes, which of course we really don't know what those are going to be now, because they depend on the timing of construction, how much improvements has been built by a certain time. But still, that's whatever it is, it's a lot better than the zero that Brigham paid. The other question, and there were several questions on this. So what are the most valuable uses at University Station, the most valuable from a real estate tax perspective? And how does the Dana-Farber facility compare with those uses? And we put together, and Nora did most of the heavy lifting on this one, as she usually does on anything complicated. We put together a spreadsheet that compared all of the commercial uses at University Station. And ultimately, the conclusion is that the Dana-Farber facility on a square foot basis will provide substantially more revenue than any other use. Sort of interesting, the spreadsheet shows that the highest value use at University Avenue are some of the big mixed-use retail restaurant spaces, followed by Lifetime Fitness, then hotel use, and that office use is actually generally, I don't want to say absolutely, the lowest building related tax revenue per square foot. So you've, I'm sure you cringed when you get your package with all the attachments from me, but Chris and Tish and I Nora worked together on all of this to try and give you as much information as we could along those lines. That's what I have, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Oh, let's see. Okay. So Dan, give us an idea, prospectively. How long are we looking at before they even put a shovel in the ground?
2 years.
2 years. And what about state approval? Besides us, wouldn't they need state approval because of the area that it's located so close to the Ponset River?
I don't know that they'd need state approval. I mean, anything within 200 feet of the Ponset River would require Conservation Commission approval, Westwood Conservation Commission approval under both the state and Westwood Wetlands Protection Act. The big state approval that they need is a determination of need from EPA. Thank you. I knew there'd be somebody else that would know. It slipped my mind, but yeah. And that's part of what they would be doing, prior to construction, is there's a lengthy several month determination of need process.
Okay. John, Rob? John?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
No, I mean, I just want to start out by thanking DCF for, just the incredibly important work that they do, right? Cancer, as we all know, ravages so many families, including most recently ours, where just 6 weeks ago, we lost our sister-in-law who battled a stage 4 colon cancer for about 4 years. So I personally am honored that they would love to bring this cutting edge treatment center to Westwood, especially in light of the fact that the most common patients this would treat are children affected with this disease. As Dan alluded to, I want to thank the staff. The materials you put together were very thoughtful and thorough in answer to our questions. So the table of comparisons I thought was incredibly helpful in understanding the revenue potential versus any of the other non-exempt commercial uses. So from my perspective, I think we all have similar desires, right? We'd love to see the end of the scourge of cancer, but until then, we want to see the continued evolution of the treatment that's both effective for eradicating cancer in patients while minimizing the impact on their bodies and the adverse reactions to that treatment. We also want to ensure the safety of our fellow residents, and we want to maximize the revenue opportunity at our University Station final parcel of land. So based on that, I fully support the idea of having DCF calling Westwood home, and would like to encourage the continued negotiation of the CSA. I personally would like to see maybe a longer term and a more clearly defined revenue guarantee spelled out, but I'm hopeful we can get there relatively quickly.
Yeah, I'll just, Michael, if I could just echo some of what Rob just said. Chris and the team have spent a tremendous amount of time pulling a great deal of information together. So I think I'm far more appreciative of the economic benefits that Dana-Farber can offer here. I think that beyond that, I guess, going into all of the discussions, I do think there's a great deal of symmetry between Dana-Farber and the Brigham structure that's there. So I do think long term, it would be nice to see this as one of the final projects at University Station. So I appreciate, Chris, you and the team really spending some time and helping me move beyond certain things and recognize that there is tremendous benefit because of the value of the building economically. And so I think we've all brought to the table, our belief in how do we best shore up University Station long term, and this offers that solution. So, the ask for tonight, Michael, is that we authorize, the team to continue to negotiate. And so in that, I would definitely say I'm in favor, but I also, beyond that, I think long term would like to see this happen.
So my only hesitancy at this point in time is none of the, especially Dedham Westwood Water has not weighed in on this yet. So we not only owe it to our residents to check and make sure that everything's good, we also owe it to Dedham to be able to say that we've done our due diligence. And I don't know, Chris, and maybe, or Pat, maybe you might know where that is as far as, discussion with Dedham Westwood Water over this. And if they're fine, that's great. Give us a letter and says it's fine, that, the town is safe and our residents are safe on both in Dedham and Westwood.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So, so we are in the process of scheduling a meeting with representation from the Dedham Westwood Water District, our safety consultant, special counsel, town council, to have that internal conversation and then to bring in Dana-Farber shortly thereafter.
Okay. And do we have a date for that yet, Mr. Coleman?
We are still just trying to get down all the pieces with some vacations that are going on. Where we have a couple of moving pieces right now, but we should be close before the end of the week.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I mean,
So-
Michael, I'm prepared to make a motion, and I can include in that, specifically, that discussions with Dedham Westwood and their approval are sought, if that helps.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think absolutely. I think it's still a little bit away because there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that agreement, Dan. And you and I could chat later on that. But in reading through it, and yes, I did read through it, Dan, including the exhibits. We definitely need to spend some time and talk about, how to get this done and get it done properly. So, not that you're not working on it right, but I just think there's some other issues outside of it that need to be addressed. And I usually bring them to your attention. So I'll do that off screen so that we don't have to bore everyone else with details.
I look forward to it.
Okay, so let me try to make a motion that might help us. So I move that the board authorize town staff and special town council to negotiate a community services agreement with the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute for the board's future consideration. Such negotiation to include issues and comments offered by the board this evening, including specifically the term of the agreement and consideration and approval of the Dedham Westwood Water District. Mr. Ahern, did I capture that okay?
I believe you did.
Any concerns, Dan, Rob, Mike?
No.
Okay.
Second, Rob? Okay. Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Gotti? And I will vote aye as well at this point. Because just so people understand, we're not agreeing to it. We are agreeing to continue to research it and see what kind of community service agreement we're able to negotiate and the details. It is not, as people like to say, it is not a done deal. This is just further investigation. So, okay. With that, Ms. Dukeman, they've let you in, which must mean we need to talk about tax dollars.
Yes, good evening. We are working on closing out fiscal year 21. So we've been doing a lot on that over the last couple of weeks. I want to thank Marie O'Leary, town accountant, and all of our accounting staff, and really all of our municipal department heads and our school finance folks. Everyone's been working really hard to close out this year. As the board knows, we monitor the budget throughout the year. We produce a monthly report to stay on top of where we are. We come to the board if we need to make any adjustments, either through your reserve account or approving the Article 1 and 2 transfers at town meeting. We've talked a lot this year that even though the year has been so unusual with all of the COVID impact, and that we had significant financial impact from what departments needed to do with COVID, that really by the end of the year, all of those additional costs were covered by the additional state or federal revenue that we were able to take advantage of. And again, I'd like to thank our departments and our school department folks for working hard to do what we needed to do to take advantage of those resources, those outside resources. It was a difficult process because those federal and state programs kept changing and fluctuating as we went through the year. But as we come to year end, all of that's been in good shape and approved, and we've received all of the funding for all of those costs. So really, we're closing out FY21 in good shape, and we come in to one of your meetings in August, and we'll go through all those numbers with you. We do have one item, though, we would like you to consider, and that would be to make one transfer from your reserve account, the FY21 Select Board Reserve account, for $100,000 to authorize some expenditures of furniture and equipment for the Wentworth Hall, the new building. That building is coming to conclusion of the construction phase. It's getting close to being able to open later this summer, early fall. And it would really be helpful for us to be able to put in our furniture purchase requests now and make sure that those are available. So when the building opens, it would be furnished and we'd be able to get our departments into there and then get the public into that building. So we have not, except for the one request that you approved earlier for the aid to the elderly, we've not used any of the reserve fund. Again, even though the year was difficult, we were able to use that outside funding to cover anything that came up during the year. Our departments worked very hard to live within their appropriations for the year. So this is kind of the one final item. So the request would be for $100,000 from your reserve account to authorize expenditures for the furniture and furnishings for the new Wentworth Hall building.
So Pam, do we have any idea, is there a delay as there is in most things, most furniture this year? Do we know what the time delay is going to be? Chris, maybe you know, have an idea, I don't know.
We're hearing, and I know Nora's available as well, we're hearing at least a minimum of 12 weeks for some of this furniture to be delivered once the order is made.
Any questions, John?
No, I'm good. Ready for a motion?
Rob, you good? Okay.
Okay, I move that the board sign, oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. I move that the board approve the transfer of $100,000 from the select board reserve account for the Wentworth Hall furniture account so that the new building will be fully furnished upon opening.
Rob, we're not hearing you for whatever reason, but that's okay. You're not muted, but we're just not hearing you. I did see you say second on the screen, but. So with that, Mr. Hickey?
On now.
Yes, yes, we can. Thank you.
Second.
Okay. I
Mr.
vote aye.
Okay,
Aye.
Mr. Gar-
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Next, under new business, we have the memorandum agreement of the Westwood Police Association. And so, Chris, did you want to take this one?
Sure.
Now-
Sure. This is a 1-year contract for fiscal year 21. This is the same. The recommendation or this contract is for the same amount, the 2% cost of living adjustment that other collective bargaining groups on the general government side did receive last year, as well as a non-represented group. The police union had some questions, and we were able to work those out towards the end of last fiscal year.
Okay. Mr. Hickey, any questions?
I'm good.
Mr. Gotti, any questions?
I have none.
Okay.
Okay, I move that the board sign a memorandum of agreement for a 1-year contract for the period of July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021 with the Westwood Police Association, Massachusetts Coalition of Police, AFL-CIO, Local 714.
Second that.
Okay. Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Gotti?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Thank you, Chris, and town council and everyone who worked on the agreement. All right. Continuing, we now have appointments. So let's see. We have appointments and reappointments of boards and committees. So with that, we have several new appointments. And the list is attached. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, Mr. Hickey and Mr. Gotti.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'll read it whenever.
Okay, so we'll have to do it in sections, John, because as you know, we get have to recuse ourselves at one section. So with that, yes, go ahead.
Sorry, Michael, the only other thing I wanted to point out too, for anybody who's watching, and maybe we can all work on this, but we need people for the audit committee, the conservation committee, the historical commission, the Housing Partnership, Fair Housing Committee, and the Recreation Commission. So hopefully, Tish, you'll start to see some interest coming in. All right, with that.
And that'll be posted on the website as well, Tish, so that people can see.
It's posted to the website so they can see it. And we'll update it weekly.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, so I move that we appoint John Curran as a member of the Aid to the Elderly Infirm Committee. And so I move we appoint John Curran, Emily Parks, and Carol Lewis as members to the Aid to the Elderly and Infirm Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2022.
Second that.
Okay, Mr. Hickey?
Okay, and I move that the following residents be appointed to the Local Emergency Planning Committee with a term to expire on June 30th, 2022. Patrick Ahern, Kenneth Aries, Christopher Coleman, John Deckers, Lena Arena DeRosa, Joseph Doyle, Pamela Dukeman, Melinda Garfield, Patricia Healy, Todd Corchin, Paul Jollicure, Donna McClellan, Jared Orsini, Karen Skinner-Catrone, Jeff Silva, Margaret Sullivan, and Brendan Ryan.
Do you want me to second that, or do you want me to wait till all the others are done?
No, second that.
I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Gotti?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. All
I
right,
move that the Select Board appoint Elizabeth Nicosia as a member to the Westwood Cultural Council for a term to expire on June 30th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Hickey?
I vote aye as well.
Okay, Rob?
Aye.
Okay, and I vote aye as well. Now I have to take myself off screen, John, for this next
Yeah.
one. So
Okay, so Rob, I move that we appoint Linda Walsh as a member and Sean Coffey as an associate member to the Zoning Board of Appeals for terms to expire on June 30th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Okay, and then I vote aye and you vote
Aye.
okay, and Mr. Walsh is an abstention.
Just point of clarification, I don't think we actually took a vote on those to the elderly and infirmed. I think
I
we.
think you did either. I was just going to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Michael, you can come back in.
thank you.
Sorry, I'll do it again.
So the aid to the elderly, yes.
So
Okay.
you have a motion and a second. All you need to do is take a vote.
Yes.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Gotti?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Okay, that's on the aid to the elderly. Just for
Okay,
clarification.
I think I got them all right.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Okay. Last thing we have on our agenda is approval of the minutes of the June 21st, 2021 meeting. Any changes at all?
No.
It looked accurate to me.
Okay,
I move acceptance of the June 21st, 2021 meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
okay. Mr. Hickey,
Aye.
Mr. Gotti,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. Okay, we have no further business before us. So our next meeting is scheduled for, let's see, because I'm trying to use two laptops. That's why Tish, you're trying to turn my camera on. It's because I switch to read the agenda and it cuts me off. So that's what happens. Our next meeting is now scheduled for Monday, August 9th at 6 p.m. It will be still via Zoom as we try to figure out how to do a semi-in-person, semi-Zoom for the fall, and we're continuing to work on that. But we will be back hopefully sometime in September. But our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 9th, 2021 at 6 o'clock. Hope to see you then. Have a great summer, and it will stop raining or we're going to start building arcs. So
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Wait, do we need to make a motion to adjourn?
yeah, motion to
Yes.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. I'll second that out of necessity since Mr. Hickey is up. Mr. Gotti,
Aye.
Mr. Walsh, and I vote aye as well. So,
And Mr. Hickey abstained.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that his leaving says he agrees, but anyway.
Voted with his feet, did he?
That's right.
Everyone have a great night. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all. Bye-bye.
All right.